So now I'm going to show you how I grew seedlings for vegetables and then outside flowers. So these are marigolds. These are going to be eventually transplanted outside with the vegetables, but I wanted to start them inside. So the tops of water bottles I had cut off just so that I can get some humidity in those little burlap bags that I was growing the marigolds in. And then this pot actually comes with the top for that humidity. So seedlings grow best with humidity, and they also grow best with humidity and heat as well. Now this is day 3. I just like to show what they look like when you start noticing them sprouting. So this is day 3 of the marigolds. So by day 9, this is what your marigolds should look like. Now I just recently took the tops off because the leaves came in. So once your leaves come in, you can go ahead and take the top off. Now I know some of them, plants look a little curvy. That's because I recently just took those water bottle tops off. And of course the water bottle top is curved and those plants kind of grew into the curve. So don't be talking about the little curvy plants. That is why they are curved, because I just recently took those water bottle caps off, but they are going to eventually start to grow straight now that those tops are off. Just make sure that you are keeping your soil moist. And this is day 9 of the marigolds. Now, one of the vegetables that I am going to be growing are pea pods. Now, like I said, I would like to show you when you would start to notice them sprouting, and this is day 4. Now, this is after they have been placed on a heating pad the night of day 3. Before that night, they never were placed on a heating pad, but I've seen that heating pads can increase the probability of seedlings growing better. So I got a heating pad the night of day 3. I placed all of my vegetables, which was my peppers, my rosemary, and these pea pods. I placed those on a pad the night of day 3. So this is the heating pad that I got, and all of my items that I'm using, including the pots and the dirt, all of that is going to be in my Amazon shop cart. It's going to be titled plants. And this is what it's looking like. So you just plug it in, stick your plants on there, and basically it just does its thing, which is heating up the plants or the seedlings or the cuttings for better results. So this is now day 9 of the pea pods, and this is what they're looking like. Now I did put 9 pea pods in here. So I'm thinking the other one is somewhere over here. What is that? Is that something? Oh, I think we found it. But we're going to get that 9th one to grow there, but there should be another one somewhere in here, and I'm thinking that's probably it. But we're going to get that one to grow as well, and then we're going to eventually grow some more, but this is what these are looking like at this point. Okay, so yeah, that wasn't a pea pod. Looks like a piece of wood or something. So I'm not sure what happened to the other one, but I needed to put some more water in here. But I wanted to show you, when you have one of these little clear growing pots, you're able to see the roots growing. And so I think I am going to transplant these into a bigger nursery pot so that the roots can continue to grow, because these plants do need a trellis or something when they start to grow. So because the roots are getting long, I am going to put this in a bigger planting pot. Another type of vegetable I am going to be growing is red onions. Now, you can grow the red onion from using the bottom of a red onion, but if you're anything like me, you like to grow from seed. So before I put my seeds in the soil, I do like to soak it for 48 hours. Now, this is just because these red onion seeds, they're very hard. So I'm not sure if white onion seeds look different, but these, once again, are red onion seeds. So I do like to soak them in water first before putting them in their pots of soil. Now, this is day 4, but day 2 of being in the soil for these onions. And these onions have been on this heating pad since day 1. Now this is now day 4 of being in the soil. So basically 6 days all together. And this is what our onions are looking like. All right, and this is a week after planting my peppers, and they have been on the heating pad for 4 days. So the little green dots you see, those are peppers. Now you can plant peppers different ways as well, but I literally just went and bought seeds. I know you can buy a pepper and then take the seeds, but no, I didn't even do that. I literally just bought the seeds without the pepper, and this is day 7. And here are my peppers day 9. And that is an eggshell I grew some of them in. So a herb that I am growing is rosemary. It helps keep some of the insect pests away from some of my vegetables that I'm growing. So this is rosemary, and this is after a week. All right, and this is my rosemary after 9 days. And most of these I had to put some more water in because they're drying out. So how I put water in my seedlings is I just take a spray bottle, and then that bottled water that I mixed with the hydrogen peroxide. If you did not watch Propagating Cuttings, go ahead and watch that video to see how I mix these together, because like my other videos, I do not like to show something more than once in a video. So go ahead and watch that video to see how I mix these two together. I put that water inside of a spray bottle, and I just basically, I'll show you here since it needs more water, I just spray it just to get it moist. And then I put my top back on so that that can get some humidity and continue to do its thing. These are my tomato seedlings. This is about day 6. These were the only ones grown in different soil, but I am going to show you how I do my tomato seedlings and also how I do my garlic. This is day 19 of the tomato plants, and I am going to be transporting these to a different nursery pot, a bigger one, because these are also a vegetable that needs a trellis to grow up on for their vines. So I do want to make sure I put those in a bigger pot so that those roots can continue to grow. So this is day 19 of the tomatoes. And last but not least, the garlic. Now this is after about 1 week. This is about a week and a half. And then this one is 19 days. So we are going to be putting all of these garlics in a different pot as well. All right, so explaining how to grow these, it's just real simple. You're just going to take a garlic clove and dump it in water, and then take like a sparing knife or a crafter's knife and cut the tips of these off and place the bottom part of the garlic in water, and then it starts sprouting roots. That is all I did to grow these garlics. So once again, you just take a garlic clove, place that in water, make sure you get a bright light above these garlics, and then it's just going to grow just like this. Make sure that when you put it in the soil that it does have a leaf growing out the top, because you do want to cover those cloves up with soil. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to transplant them into another nursery pot. So we're just going to do this one out of this cup because the other ones haven't grown their leaves yet. So we're just going to do that one. But we're just going to transplant them into some nursery pots. And once again, everything I'm using you can get in my Amazon shop cart titled plants. So these are the nursery pots we're going to be using. All right, stop again, because I know them Karens and Jarens are going to be running to them comments once they see this. So I just have to say this little disclaimer. Even though I'm saying this disclaimer once again, they still may be running to them comments. You do not have to use what I am using. You can use what you want to use. You can even use a coconut coir that I did in my first video. Go watch my first plant video if you have not. Use that for your garden. You do not have to use this Miracle-Gro organic potting mix. I know Miracle-Gro sometimes get a bad rap about having gnats in their bags, but I will tell you, this bag didn't have not one gnat in it. Now, I don't know if it's because I bought it in the wintertime and it's kind of cold right now. I don't even know if it's because, you know, it says organic. I'm not sure, but this has no gnats in it. But if you are worried about getting bugs in your potting mix, go ahead and get you some of this. Y'all see that? I also see people saying that they bake their soil to get rid of bugs, but just get you some of this. Now it has a list of all the creepy crawlers it gets rid of, or it kills. Now make sure that if you are going to be putting this in the dirt that you are gardening at with your fruits and vegetables, make sure your DE is food grade. Mine is not food grade because I'm not putting it in the dirt with my fruits and vegetables. I do above gardening. I don't do in-ground gardening. So I'm just going to put this around my above gardening beds instead of putting it in the dirt with my gardening vegetables and fruits. Okay, you can just use that if you are worried about your soil having bugs. I know a lot of people say also just don't water as much. Excuse me, ma'am, sir, why would you not water when you're supposed to water? If it needs to be watered, water your plants. Don't be starving them plants just because you don't want to get bugs. Get you some of this. Bake the soil before you use it. You can even watch my first video once again and see some other tricks that I do to keep bugs out of my soil. So, this is what we're using. This is what I used to get the results I got, okay? Okay. Oh, and let me also add, this is not a sponsor video. I ain't getting not one penny for this. For this one or for this. This is not a sponsor video. Sure, y'all put y'all gardening gloves on because we're about to play in some dirt. So once again, this is the potting mix that I use to grow all of my vegetables in. So we're just going to fill our pot a little bit with this potting mix before planting the garlics in here. All right, so we got some dirt in here. And with this one, we're just going to use like a small shovel. This shovel I got from one of the little Evergrow kits. So I'm just gonna use this one and I'm gonna kind of go around the outside just to try to get all of these out of the, not necessarily out of the dirt. We wanna keep as much dirt as we can around those roots, but I'm trying to lift those up off the bottom of this pot so that we can put it in this pot. And this is a great example of why we're switching it into one of these pots, is because these pots, you can squeeze it when you transport these outside. It's just easier when you can squeeze it, because these obviously you can't squeeze, so that's why we have to kind of go around the pot here. So we're gonna do that and put it in this pot. Now this part, you kind of want to be careful here with pulling these up out, but go ahead and pull them out and pull them out over the other pot. And I want to go ahead and show you, this is why we need to transfer to another pot so that those roots can continue to grow. And then you just fill in all the way around. Making sure all those bulbs are covered. Now the smaller ones, you're just going to basically take those out and stick them around the larger ones. So you can see those roots there. That's just basically from being in water. All right, so scratch what I just said about putting the smaller ones around the bigger ones. I did not do that. I just put those in a separate pot. So these are the garlic pots. All right, so now the tomatoes I actually grew inside of eggshells. I'm just going to lightly lift this up and show you. Those are inside of eggshells. And I grew those inside of eggshells, but I did go ahead and put some of the Miracle-Gro organic potting mix inside of this pot. But there are some crushed up eggshells in here as well. That's good for fertilizer. So there are some crushed up eggshells in there. But this is basically both of these pots inside of here. So yeah, we are going to need a lot more tomatoes. So I'm going to show you how I grew these from a tomato, a Roma tomato, seeds that I have. And I didn't buy the Roma tomato seeds. I'm just going to do it from a Roma tomato. So yeah, all of that is just eggshells that are crushed up. I'm just trying to make sure that we have this packed in there pretty good, because you did not get a lot of tomatoes from those two pots. So I'm going to show you how to do some tomatoes. Alright y'all, so this is what I came up with in order to keep this dirt from falling down into here, because when I do grow those other tomatoes, I am going to transplant those over in here. And it shouldn't take but like, you know, less than a month to do that. So in less than a month, I can remove those, put those tomatoes in there, fill it back up with some dirt, and hopefully this whole bucket will be filled up by then. And I won't have to do some more, but yeah, that was not a lot at all when you get them all together. So alright, so now I'm going to show you how I grew my tomatoes from a Toma tomato. Alright, so you're just going to go ahead and cut your tomato. And then inside is where you're going to get all the seeds. Take a paper towel and you're just going to lay those seeds out on that paper towel there. I just use a spoon to scoop it all out. Alright, so you are just going to want to spread those seeds on that paper towel, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to take your finger and kind of loosen up that outer shell on the seed. You want to take all that gooey stuff off of the seed and then separate your seed onto like another separate paper towel. So the easiest way I do is I kind of move that seed on the paper towel to kind of loosen that outer shell up on the seed. And that's the easiest way that I can find to take that stuff off of the shell. Now this is just to eliminate it from molding up, because we do have a seedling pot that we're using. And of course that heat and that humidity and the moisture, that's what mold likes to build on, those type of environments. So I do this to eliminate the mold from building up inside the pot. So then of course you're just going to take your pot and you're just going to take each seed and kind of put that in the pot. And I am going to put all these seeds in here because if you noticed my tomato seeds from the first pot, it didn't really fill up that pot that I thought it would. So I'm just going to go ahead and put all these seeds in this pot. And then once these start growing, we'll be able to put it on the other side of those tomatoes that's already in that 6-inch pot. We'll be able to put these on the other side. And then I believe that pot should be pretty much filled up after that. So yeah, you're just gonna put all those seeds in there and then you're just gonna cover it up. As you can see, my soil is not filled up to the top because you are gonna just put a small little layer of dirt on top of these seeds after you put them all in. which is why the pot is not filled to the top with soil. So then you're just going to water that, put your top on, and then make sure you keep it in a bright area. So that's pretty much how I grow the marigolds and the vegetables from seeds. Now these garlics I have cut off the top because apparently if you cut off the top, you'll be able to grow bigger garlic bulbs. So, and I also went ahead and put that last one in that hadn't grown all the way. That is right there. So they are growing marvelously. It's not spring yet, so they are not outside, but I did cut the tops because apparently if you cut the tops, the bulbs will grow bigger. All right, y'all, that is going to conclude my video of growing vegetables and flowers from seeds. Don't forget to hit that like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so that you don't miss my next notification of when I post my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.